What's up, everybody? Welcome back, episode 5. We are doing a Halloween special. Nate and I are dressed up, so we did our preparations, and we really enjoyed doing this one. This one was a lot of fun, and episode 5, Blissfully Unaware. Welcome to it. Let's get it started. Dun, 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 yeah.
Dude, I'm having a hard time making this conversation work with this beard
right
now.
Beard?
No, I love it. It's just like I'm trying not to crack up.
Dude,
it fits your hair perfectly.
I'm
love
enjoying
it.
this.
I love it.
This is something that I've been striving for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, you've worked hard for it.
Yeah. I mean, so I had to do the whole thing with Rogaine.
I was gonna say, what was the breakthrough product that you?
Creatine.
Yeah.
Rogaine.
Okay, creatine. Now let me ask you this: Did you drink any kombucha? Because that's supposed to make your hair grow.
A little bit of kombucha mixed
Yeah.
with biotin. So I'd crush up a few biotin pills,
Mm.
and then drink
Up
some
to the
kombucha.
nose. They're absorbable through the nasal cavities.
Sinusoidal.
Okay.
Straight through the sinuses.
Is that more effective than?
I
taking
think
it
so.
orally?
I think so because definitely my beard came in denser.
Yeah. Well, you
'Cause
got
before- What's up?
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very, very impressive. I mean, just the measures you must have taken to achieve that. Or
Call me a ruler, man. I'm sorry.
what? Oh, wait. Dude, that's so funny.
No, it wasn't. Don't say that.
It's just funny what just happened. I don't know. That was a trip. Oh my gosh. Everyone's listening to the waterworks. We're sorry, yo. It is just, that's just the way it is right now, but
Does it look weird when
nah, it's fine.
So did you see that Amy Coney Barrett got confirmed today?
Who's that?
You know the Supreme Court justice?
Oh
That
my
Trump
god, I
nominated?
did. I didn't see it, but I heard about it up in the meeting earlier.
Dude, what the fuck?
What a bummer.
It's weird because we're a week out?
Isn't that what it is? When's it? Next Wednesday?
Yeah, I mean.
Is that what it is?
I think so, the 4th?
Yeah, so for them watching, it'll be in 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. You guys
Buckle up your seats, yo. Chink, chink.
get ready for war.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. We all are.
Did you see that Facebook put out a thing where they were we're expecting a lot of unrest after the election, so we're gonna go ahead and shut down fake news things, and we're gonna try and restrict certain communities of extremist groups. Yeah.
Wonder
Isn't
if
that
that's the
crazy?
right call, dude.
Well, it's almost did the chicken come before the egg?
Yeah.
Are they gonna create it simply by sowing that thought? Obviously, a lot of people have had that thought, but then, almost, are you speaking it into existence?
Mm.
That's what I'm kind of worried about. 'Cause I
Wait,
think
you
a
mean
lot of
Google is
people-
speaking it into existence?
Facebook speaking it into existence by going ahead and going, we're gonna quell this unrest before it
Oh,
happens.
yeah, right.
That's
Well,
so.
Not only that, dude, it's you gotta be careful when you're censoring things.
Yeah.
The wrong people can get censored, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when does that go away? Does it stay after the election? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what if we get another fucking Patriot Act where it's just
Jesus
civilian
Christ.
arrests? We can spy on you guys more.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
Your freedoms are gone, but
Because the Proud Boys exist, they can take all my data. I know it's already happening, but
it's sickening.
it's gonna be very, very weird. And no matter what happens,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna be very pissed off.
Oh my god.
And it's gonna be a lot of fucking people.
Dude.
Like,
They just did it to themselves, bro. People really gotta be able to pick this shit apart and be I don't know, man. It is so crazy. And I'm worried about, that we brought it up, in the meeting while I was just saying, it was how are you guys doing with this? And then a couple of people were going off about the Conservatives Club. Instagram
Yeah.
account, and then
That's kind of fucked up, though.
yeah, I think like having a conservative Instagram account isn't fucked up, but like the way that they're doing it, like kind of it, like just based on what I've read and things like that, it's like
Yeah.
it feels like they're stirring the pot. It doesn't feel like they're trying to like. It's not like they were already there.
Yeah.
It's like they just appeared like now.
Exactly.
And it's like you don't like have faith that they're there for like a humble reason.
Yes. It's
When you
dude.
see it.
It's just a response.
Yeah.
It's just
exactly.
a response.
And it's like
And it's like, dude, it's a ton of like privileged white guys or girls. I don't want to stereotype, right? And like they're just upset that for the first time in their whole lives and for like pretty much
and their parents' lives.
and their grandparents.
And
like
their
it just keeps
grandparents'
going.
lives, yeah.
It gets worse as you go back. Like for the first time, somebody who doesn't normally have like a prominent voice maybe has a prominent voice.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just like people are uncomfortable by that, and then you call them on it, and they're just like, "What? No, I have a black friend." Like, what?
Yeah.
It's really weird, and I really hope. I'm sure. Here's my biggest issue with it. Like going off the topic of like a potential like war, or just unrest after
Yeah.
the election and
Yeah.
everything. Like this is exactly how these things start. Escalation. So it's like we have one side. I'm reading this book right now, The Art of Peace, that talks all about like, you know, how easy it is really to be peaceful, but also how hard it is, what goes into it and all that. And like right now we're doing the least peaceful thing. It's escalation by both sides.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
so real.
we gotta create a conservatives at Springfield page for a page that isn't liberals at Springfield,
Yeah.
progressives at Springfield.
Yeah.
It's just black at Springfield for people who are like minorities to
Yes.
express their experiences and like actually like be heard to some degree. Like
So important.
yeah, and like going out and saying, oh, that's actually like we're gonna make a mockery of it by copying the exact style.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
don't you think that's escalation a little bit? Like just be better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant when I was like, dude, they're just stirring the pot. Like,
yeah.
they're just poking the bear. It's like, don't, like, I don't know. To me, it just, for me, the thing is, when, like, you think about, I don't know, like, somebody being stubborn on something, it's just, like, they just don't want to admit that they're wrong. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you said, like, people for years and years have thought this way, and now it's changing, and it's like, the fact that you care that it's changing, like, everyone should, like, be wary of change in the way that, like, you know, it could go too far.
Right.
But, like, the fact that you are so against that change that it's, like, you need to make an Instagram page or, like, have a response that, like, is aggressive, it's, like, clearly there's something wrong.
Yeah, you're taking
And it goes
almost
both
personally.
ways. Yeah, you're taking shit personally that isn't about you.
Right. Like,
It's Republicans a lot, but it's Democrats too. It's like everyone with that super extreme idea.
yes,
It's like,
exactly.
dude, like get over it. Like you don't need to be right. Like we just need to be like we need to figure this shit out together.
Yeah, dude. The weird thing, like, talking to those people that are extreme, or like just seeing like the kind of content they put out, I feel like it almost extremifies the viewer, because then it's like, okay, now I have to adopt a hard stance against this, and this is poisoning my understanding of the other side, which is so fucking harmful.
Yeah.
And of course that's happening on both sides.
Of course.
Like, the amount of politics shaming is fucking crazy. I mean, I understand it, but also it's like, we can't do that, whether it's liberals shaming Trump, or like, Trump voters or Trump supporters, and I understand why. It's for a very good reason.
Yeah.
But then you also have like conservative people like shaming people who are voting Biden, and once again, it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just bumming me out. Like,
no, for sure, dude. It's something that's like, if we could just like, I wish there was just an account that was like, no parties at Springfield, like not like, you know what I mean? Like, why can't we just be doing that? Like, how much better would that be if we could just like come in the middle about it, because it's so tiring, and it's like you're saying, like so extreme and toxic sometimes.
Yeah. I've realized how much it's like draining me to have those kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
I need to be better about like not starting shit.
Well, and the thing is, dude, it's like, at least like you're disappointed because like you know what you're talking about, or like you feel strongly about it. But like some people are just like taking it too far. Like we just got like snowflakes, dude. Like so many people on this campus have talked to me and been like, oh man, like I'm like talking about crying and like not being able to go to class and like all this stuff about like the results of the election. And like, just to be clear, like I'm not putting down people for caring. Obviously it's important, but like people got to toughen up a little bit. Like your world, like it's not like, I'm not trying to make it seem less important than it is, but like, because it is important, but it's like your world's not coming to an end.
Yeah.
Do you feel like sometimes the world's coming to an end?
I don't think my world is.
Yeah.
But I'm worried that for other people it might.
Yeah.
Or not come to an end, but become way harder than it already is.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, I get you.
That's what really like, because I'm gonna be real, like, my parents have stable jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Same.
Like, you know, we're set.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no, even like a little recession, like it's not really gonna affect me. I'm really, 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 really lucky for that. But
that's
it's
really
the people who are in like fragile positions where it's like, dude, we gotta watch who the fuck we're voting for. Like, you know, a team's only as strong as its weakest member. It's absolutely like ridiculous and short-sighted to like vote for the self, because then it's like, okay, yeah, I understand your quality of life might be a little bit better because you can exploit this person who may be implementing like unethical policies or maybe something that like doesn't consider not just the majority of Americans but all of Americans.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you know, you're reaping the personal benefits while you're benefiting from the, I guess, the like contribution of everybody, because everybody in the country is contributing in some way.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, I hear you. I didn't mean, like, when I was saying that, I was more saying like, talking about like people just like, so like I feel like you are like super invested in it, and so that's why I'm like backtracking, because I don't want you to think that I'm like shitting on you for being invested in it, and I'm not shitting on anyone for being like emotionally impacted. And I like really agree with what you were saying, like everything you just said. And I kind of like, when you said it, I was like, okay, wait, let me take a step back and like make sure that I'm like coming across the right way, because like I think like I was wrong like a little bit with what I just said.
Well, I mean, I think people totally get what you're saying. Like, it's for a lot of people, like, you know, there are people doing it, but there's also like, it fucking bums you out, like, you know what I mean? And you already contribute like so much of your time into like actually like tangibly helping the community here,
right?
Like, whether it's out in club or pre-camp or whatever, you know. Oh, and rugby, like, fucking, it's already a contribution, so it's like you can't be everything like all at once.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
You know, I think they totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, I just want people to be like a little tougher about it, like just a little more like resilient and like hopeful. You know what I mean?
I know.
But it's hard to be, and it's easy for me to be hopeful because, like you're saying, like that's the best part about what you said. It's like it's easy for me to be hopeful because like I'm not really worried.
It's also
but
easy
not
to be
everyone
very
has
pessimistic.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
And it's not necessarily a virtue to be pessimistic. Whereas I think being optimistic about it, like, that's definitely one of your biggest strengths. Like, you shouldn't want to trade that for the world, because that's what can carry you through like the hard like times and help the people who are like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I know you've talked me off the ledge before about like, yo, what is happening right now? Like, and I think that's something that we really need as well, because if we don't have that, like, then everybody goes extremist, because you only have other people who are equally as like crazy about it as you to be like, oh, I'm gonna argue with you about this, like,
right.
Yeah, it's important for real.
For real.
I mean, that's how we get back to like centrism.
Dude, I wish we could, bro. I was reading some of my history book. For the homeworks, you have to read like a bunch of history, or like for the history homework, to read like a bunch of chapters in that, and answer like true false questions, and like it takes a lot of time, so I kind of like don't like that because it's just gen ed.
Yeah.
But like I really like history, and so like I find myself like once I actually start, I'm like really enjoying reading the book a little bit, and so I was just reading about like the Constitution and like everyone coming together and like forming that, and like it was just so, I was just loving it, bro. Like I was so in it. I was like, I should really read this textbook, like actually read it. I was literally thinking like about reading a history textbook.
Well, I mean, that's the fucking best when you can have a subject that you're actually like into, like that.
Yeah.
But also, like, yeah, that's when we had like real patriots who want reasonable things, and we didn't have the corruption we have now. Like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, dude, and yeah, the corruption, bro, and it's like, yeah, like people right now are just hating on history. Like, people right now are like, everyone was fucking Satan, like, like just like you can't like any of our old presidents, you can't like any of those people, like.
It's weird because it's like the historical context of it. It's like during that time that culture was like that, so it's like, do we fault them? But at the same time, it's like they've done horrible things. But I think it should be like, I don't know. It's important not to expunge those people from the records, only because if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat the same mistakes.
Couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, dude, I'm already worried that's happening right now.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening.
The whole Uyghur genocide, the fact that we're turning a complete blind eye to that, like, that is so fucked. I mean, it's like going to be another Armenian genocide. It's
you
just
think
like,
so?
Yeah, 100%. Because China denies it's happening right now, and I don't think they're ever gonna admit it as long as the CCP is in power there. Like,
yeah, and I think people don't really understand like the military, like how much good the American military does when they're like trying to fight shit like that.
Well, they're not even like doing anything about it.
That's what I mean. But I feel like people shit on it, and I'm like, people don't, like, people are like, why are we at war? Like, we should never be at war. Like, that kind of thing. Like, for whatever reason, like on the right or the left, it's like, I think a lot of people don't know how much good, like how much fixing we can do, and like you're saying, like we could try and help, but there's a part of me that's also like, dude, we have so much shit to fix here. Like,
exactly.
How can we go over there? Like, and it's like, people in the military would be like, dude, what do you mean? Like, we're saving lives. Like, we're doing this, that, and the other. It's like,
right.
It's hard. Like, if you have money, you should donate it, right? So if you have like resources, like America has money. Like, I mean, I don't really think we have money. I think we're trillions in debt, but like somehow we still have money, which is a fucking mind fuck just in itself.
Well, like,
and we just spread it around the world, bro.
Yeah, I mean the whole debt thing's weird, right?
Because it's weird. Yeah,
you need a national debt in order to have a stable economy, but with national debt, it can start to feel like, oh, like what? What do you mean they raised the debt? Like, 2 or 3 trillion? Like what? What happened? Like, it's really just...
And then people start pinning that on, like, war and fucking this and that.
Or individual, like, presidents.
Or right on the person.
Which, like, way more often it's a result of, like, there was some kind of corrupt backroom dealing.
Yeah.
And somebody just handed out a lot of money.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're misallocating our resources, like...
Right.
Yeah, there's so much fuckery that happens at that level, like...
Yeah.
I don't even... But, okay, so this kind of, like... This kind of segues to something I wanted to talk about. Like,
perfect.
The whole thing about, like, happiness, because this might sound a little, like, cliche or whatever, like, canned, but, like, I was thinking earlier today, like, why is it that some people who live what we were told by, like, rom-coms or, like, kid comedies in the early 2000s about, like, oh, you don't want to end up in a cubicle. You don't want to end up being like, oh, I'm only living for the weekend. Like, how come there are so many people who do fall into that trap? And I don't just mean people who, like, you need to land an office job. Because I do think, like, that's an important step for a lot of people. I'm talking about the people like, you know, honestly, like a lot of senators or like representatives, like, I don't know, like policymakers, a lot of what they're doing, it's like there's a lot of people who are doing the wrong thing. So it's like, are you just there to be a civil servant? You're working a lot of hours.
Yeah.
There is a lot of like, you know, I don't know, elimination of free time if you're on the job. You basically have to be a senator 24/7.
Yeah, you're
gotta be
a show
statesman.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can't have issues, you can't have controversies, you have to be the typical American. Like where is happiness found there? Because like, is that somebody who got it fucked up and it's just like, oh, I'm about the money? And I'm speaking mostly to like the corrupt ones.
Yeah, of course. I think it's like a thing where, like I know a senator from Scouts actually, and he would come, like he's involved in Scouts or whatever, and he would come. I'm pretty sure he's a senator, Edward Markey. He's from Massachusetts, and like he would come and talk, and I could have totally fucked that up. I know he's like in the Massachusetts government somewhere. I don't know if he's a senator. Anyways, he would come and talk, and like he just has like you're saying, like a way about him that just like is always the same.
Right.
Like it's always like, oh no, my bad, Edward Markey, bro. I'm tripping. I'm just fucking high.
It doesn't matter.
Dave Vieira is his name, bro. Anyways, so he would come talk, and like he had that way about him, but like, is that? So it's like the question is like you're asking, is it like real, or are you just like, are you like serving yourself, or you're serving like your people? And it's like,
right.
I think for the good ones, like they get like a real sense of like happiness and accomplishment when they like press on something good. But I think the majority of them just aren't good, and like politicians are just like corrupt, and like they just see the money, bro. It's like,
but like to be a CEO, to be that, like where's the disconnect along the way, right? It can't just be like a societal thing, because I think society broadly has said like, you know, not only is it not good to just live for money, but like more importantly, it's not cool to live for like money.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the big part of that is like it or not even just the values, but what's considered like cool at the time shapes a lot of what like people go into. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree. But don't you think like pop culture and like influencers, that's like money, like shoved in our faces right now?
I mean, I guess that is true.
Like a lot of people want to fucking drip.
Right. I guess I'm thinking of the time where like the senators that we have now, or the representatives, whoever, like, they all grew up in like the 80s. It's on the coattails of like the hippie revolution and the freeness of the 70s. Like,
yeah.
What happened there, right?
Yeah, where'd we go? How do we get away from that?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And it's also like, how are you experiencing happiness? Because like, you know, the whole thing about like hallucinating your own reality, where it's like every sense that we observe we're experiencing it secondhand. You know what I mean? Like the data reflecting off of that pole is just light, so my eye takes that raw data, and my occipital lobe will process it, and certain brain parts will turn it into like relevant information that I can then process.
Yeah.
You know, like emotions are the same kind of thing. I'm interacting with a certain behavior that may or may not trigger chemical reaction.
Right.
You know, like it's just, why is it that money does that for them? Because you kind of have, unless you're a sociopath, which I don't think all of them are. It's like there has to be something where you have started associating money with pure happiness, whether it's an adrenaline rush, like whether
some sort of dopamine hit, or like.
But it goes deeper than that too, because like we learn from our parents like what is happiness, what is success, like you know, what is living like the classic American dream, like and I think like both our parents would just be like, contribute to Contribute to your community.
Yeah, they're
Make a
both
change.
teachers. Dude, that's been
Right.
such a prevalent message in my life.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what the world would look like if everyone else had as much of a community, like, volunteering and just, like, community first,
Right.
like, mentality. What the world would look like if other people were taught that.
It would be so much.
It'd be beautiful, man.
It would be kinder. Everything would be chrome. We would have like, you know, we'd have some of like the most progressive like financial policy and social policy. It'd be utopia maybe.
And we'd just be, like, consider ourselves so lucky to already have that. Like, just
Yeah.
imagine not having that, you know? Like,
That's true.
that's, like,
It's
privilege.
it's so sad because like I feel like most people don't have that.
I know. Yeah, that's why I said it. Like, that's what I mean. Yeah, like, it's like,
Oh.
fuck. No, I didn't mean to say, like, duh. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying, like,
No.
yeah, I'm on that same thought as you. Like, it's almost like, why? Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we could just be better, so let's be better.
Right.
Like
It's so simple.
but it's also like devil's advocate, like the other side. If you're so conditioned to one thing, like we're so on this because we're so conditioned to
Yeah.
somebody else who's so conditioned to you have to succeed at the expense of others. It's just like, well, I'm never
Yeah.
going to change that no matter how many conversations I have. Like, you know, no matter how much like help they get or
Yeah.
you know, maybe friendships with people who really believe the opposite. Like, it's stuck. Which, you know, it can be a bummer, but it can also be like, what happens if we just do something? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know, man. I don't even know if it can be let's do something for everybody. Because then it's just compromising between, are we going to do something for everybody? Or are we going to help a select few individuals?
Mhm.
But then it's like, wait. It's not a compromise between two different like dialectic beliefs. It's just like we're gonna be a little less nice so that we can like
Yeah.
you know pander to you guys,
Yeah.
or a little less considerate or empathetic or I don't know,
Mm.
team oriented.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
No, that you're right. You're right. That's yeah. I never thought of that.
But it's easy to like. I feel like a lot of people who do think that way just get caught up in the hustle of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, man. Like the hustle is attractive.
Right. Well, that's what that's what I was even thinking. Like, I was going like in my head, like, you know, like white community or not even just white, but you know, like a nice community versus like
Yeah.
a project or something. Like the messages that are like given in those two areas, and
Yeah.
like just how different that world must be, and like obviously we have no idea what it's like, but I just think it's like that going back to that community sense where we're raised and enveloped like and just like completely like engaged in that type of like feeling with our community, and then like the type of feeling in another community just must be so difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
Like just like because like you're saying, it's like we could just be better, like so let's just be better. So it's like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in that are just like there's maybe like so much less opportunity to be better, or like so much less example of being better.
Yeah. I think it's also a huge drive to survive. I think that's most.
Yeah.
Survival is most important.
A city right now is like a fucking. It's like
It's scary. It's not. It's almost wild in that you.
that's
have
what I was
to-
gonna say.
Yeah. It's spooky.
It's like people are surviving.
Yeah.
Like it's like a tribe against another tribe in there,
Yeah.
or multiple tribes with the gangs and shit. But it's like, if you just like bring it back to like referencing it to like a more primal time, it's just like a city, just people just trying to get by any means necessary. Like
Right.
they don't have shit. Like not all of them, but like there's like a huge like there's a bunch of rich people and then there's a bunch of poor people, and like the poor people don't have like anything, and like I just can't imagine what that life would be like.
Yeah.
It's so devastating.
I know.
But it breeds a more competitive like
For sure.
evolution almost.
For
Like
sure.
those people that live like that every day are like maybe they're like evolving differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not
gonna
like
be not gonna like if you have more pressure to succeed.
yes,
You're
yeah,
either gonna really succeed or you're really gonna
fail.
crack.
Yeah.
And like I feel like sometimes like I have such a good safety net where I feel like I want to succeed, but I don't have to. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
which is
I
really,
feel that.
really sobering, because then it's
Yeah.
just like, whoa, then what the fuck am I doing? Like, if that's my situation, then the only thing I can meaningfully do is get to a position where I can, contribute again.
Yeah, give back to, yeah.
Yeah, just build that safety net for other people.
Yes, yeah. No, and that's the most like, yeah, that's gotta be the goal.
Yeah.
That's gotta be what you do when you get to a place where you can. I mean, it just, if you don't, it's like, well, like we lost another one to the fucking
To the machine.
The machine, man.
Unfortunate. Dude, it might be time to intro this. I don't know how deep we are right now.
We're probably, I'm guessing 35 to 40 minutes in.
35 to 40.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We've
I'm
been
gonna
going
go.
good though.
I'm gonna go with 30. I think it's a
Okay.
clean 30.
Clean 30, clean bean.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I hear you.
Time will tell. Let us know. Let us know who's spot on right here. Like, I feel like it's 30.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna see.
Yeah.
Episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what we're titling this yet.
Not yet. We're getting old though. 5 episodes.
I know, man.
Let's go.
Holy shit.
Nate looked at me and he goes, "Can we just go viral?" Like, wow, what's up with that? Like,
Yeah. Okay, we should discuss the Charlie D'Amelio idea.
oh yeah, we should discuss the Charlie D'Amelio idea.
Okay, all right. So, to recap for the audience, this was a walk and talk.
We were setting up, man.
Yeah. Like, to really go viral, right?
Mm-hmm.
TikTok is like, you outlined this, it's like the most like influential.
Yeah.
Like, all we need to do, and let us know if we're delusional about this.
I'm in on this. I'm sorry.
We pay Charlie D'Amelio to do a cameo, probably $1,000. She just goes, watch Blissfully Unaware, rips a joint, done. We go huge.
If in the audience, if Nate just said that and you can't visualize it happening, then you just don't get it. Like, and you're gonna need to work on that, because I'm telling you what, like when Nate said that the first time and just now, I saw it right in my head and it just felt like it could be like an internet breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Kim K splashing fucking, like, what was it? Like
Yeah.
champagne on her ass?
Yeah.
Equivalent.
Equivalent. 100%.
That, I'd lose my fucking mind. And we don't necessarily have the fastest to do that right now, but like if anybody has a grand lying around that they either want to donate or just go ahead and plug your own shit and do it, that'd make my week.
Oh my god, dude, that'd make my fucking semester. Are you kidding me? Dude,
that'd be a game changer.
And if you also just happen to be a lookalike, we could hire an actor and do a fake version of that.
Yeah. Please reach out. BlissfullyUnawarePodcast
Jesus.
at gmail.com.
Okay.
Email address is in the description on our YouTube channel. Go ahead, man. We linked it all out.
It's all linked up.
Yeah. Yo, this is also the Halloween episode.
Yeah, y'all probably just celebrated Halloween.
Yeah, this should be coming out the day after. What do we got right here?
Well, I got my gold chain and my pajama shirt, so I'm going with fucking Hugh Hef. Yeah. I almost forgot. Yeah.
The Playboy King.
Yeah.
The Playlord.
What you got over there?
Dude, Tommy Chong.
So perfect.
Original Up in Smoke costume. I feel like it goes. The fake beard is so. I've swallowed so much goddamn hair. You can probably see I'm just playing with this the entire fucking time.
The whole time.
Dude.
It's awesome.
It sucks.
It's
so
I
much.
literally said when he put that on, I go, yo, you think that's gonna suck?
So
you were like,
scratchy.
and you were like, no. Yeah,
I was so wrong, dude.
It looks perfect though. Like it looks like it fits, bro.
I'm loving this. If I could it sucks, but at the same time, if I could somehow grow a real beard like this, you know I would.
I would fucking do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Dude, we forgot we were gonna have them guess who we were. Oh.
Go ahead, rip a guess. Secondaries. Wrong answers only, please.
Yeah. Just do what you were originally thinking we were. Or if you just originally, I mean, this is like however long in, so you probably just thought we were dressed up like douchebags for the first 40 minutes at least.
Yeah, yo, hope to God. Let's just title. We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
Let's title it costumes. People
Yeah,
get that.
they'll get it.
Yeah.
Dude, longest intro ever, but welcome back, y'all. We're just,
We got side noted on that for real.
For real.
It's fine though.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so the anatomy of peace thing, like,
Oh, yeah.
diverging from what we were previously talking about, but more so like a big component for having peace is like it's having security. You know, like, and so much I feel like of what's important in having security is having like a really strong social net.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I'm sure a ton of other people have felt this, but like more now because of like COVID especially, like everybody feels extremely like alone.
Yeah.
But that's also like a reality in just everyday life. Like I've noticed it, like I'm so bad about this too because I'm just like naturally like shy to talk to new people.
Yeah.
But like we don't really like go out of our way to like invite new people into things. You know what I mean? Because like in my life a few times I've been pushed into a few hobbies where I feel like, oh, this is either opening a new avenue to express myself or just a new avenue to like meet people who are like similarly minded.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed I don't feel like that happens as much. And I'm not gonna fucking bring up the online communities bullshit because like that's we murdered that last podcast.
Yeah.
But like I just think now I guess it is kind of related to the money thing. Like because we're so focused on you know, just succeeding like quick enough.
Yeah.
Like, we're not getting into new things. COVID has slowed that down and we've almost gotten things into like we've gotten into hobbies in a vacuum where it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna start doing pottery now. Or I'm gonna start doing like I don't know, CrossFit or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like normally there's a community around that. Like,
And then everyone's inside doing it on their own.
yeah, it's kind of sad.
It's
like,
sad. For sure. It's fucking with people.
I'm so excited for November 5th when the vaccine comes out because I think it's gonna like change absolutely everything.
Yeah, we'll be fixed. I'll give it a couple days.
Well, it won't be a couple days. I'm not an idiot. I know.
Oh, I know. I thought you were being sarcastic about the whole thing.
Well, I was
just
being low-key
about
serious.
the president.
I low key think that like we're gonna hear we got something November 5th.
You think?
Yeah, whoever wins is gonna be the one to announce it. I think because then it's just like, do you know how much steam like that puts on your campaign or just your hype as a president?
Like, dude, that just sounds so much like a game show.
I know.
I know. Like made a knot in my stomach when you said that. That sucks.
I know it's terrible, but I'm worried I'm right. Like,
yeah, I'm worried you're right now too.
Like if that happens, then it's just like we're living in a fucking simulation, and only some people have the keys to it.
Not enough people, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing that's been weighing on me a lot recently.
Okay.
Like the whole like, is it a simulation argument? Like
I hate that shit.
I know, but I mean, realistically, it doesn't change. It doesn't change like your experience here.
Right.
Right.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
Yeah, like even if it is totally manufactured, and it doesn't even have to be a simulation. Maybe our experiences are wholly manufactured. Like the best thing you can do. Let's say we're living in a video game right now. The best thing you can do is spread like positivity or like empathy or just love in general. Like
I couldn't agree more.
We badly, I feel like, need a new hippie revolution. We've been out of it for so long. Like what communities now are preaching like the whole free love thing?
No,
like,
people don't, bro. People hate each other.
Yeah. Where does that start?
Yeah, and how do you get to want to take that seriously? Because like the hippie fucking movement didn't work. Everyone just made fun of them, and like, you know what I mean? And like
I mean,
It
yes
didn't,
and
it's not that
no.
it didn't make an impact, but like at the end of the day, it was like, you know what I mean? Like now we're back to a place. Like if the hippie movement worked,
Right.
then we wouldn't be here.
I know.
But I know what you're saying. Like I feel like that'd be cool if we did that.
Right.
Like I would like feel the most. That's like the situation where I would feel the most joy.
Yeah.
If we could all figure it out, like, and have like a moment where we're just like, okay, wait, I think we get this now.
Right. Of just strict like cohesiveness. Like,
why are we lacking that cohesiveness so much?
well, I mean,
It's so tiring.
the hippie movement like was gaining traction. It like was at one point it was cool to be a hippie.
Yeah, it was.
And that was like, I mean, that's kind of the key. If you can make it a young adult culture thing,
Right.
it's gonna take off.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
I mean, the powers that be, like, I think we can realize definitely quenched that whole revolution to a degree.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there
Change.
Right. I mean, the attack on psychedelics.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like
a fucking nuke got dropped on psychedelics, bro.
really though,
Uh,
because
it
it started brainwashing the next generation of kids,
Yeah.
and they were like, oh, the hippies are whack, you know.
Dude, talk about that article that you put on your story.
Oh, the maps thing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so they're doing a lot of work right now.
Mhm.
I know up in Washington and also at like Johns Hopkins. Like there's all kinds of things coming out now with like PTSD. I think extreme depression they're using MDMA for.
Yeah,
Like,
MDMA.
Trying to use like I think it's refined maybe it's not refined psilocybin, it's just a pill. But like doing all these things that induce like intense euphoria like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yo,
Yeah.
call me a cat, bro.
Hairball.
Dog.
You can take that off.
I might want it.
Yeah, dude, whatever you need, bro.
Oh.
You just got free. Bro,
Yeah,
grab your
that
water, grab your water.
That sucked.
Dude, that did not look fun. I gotta find my water. Oh, here it is.
Okay, alright. What I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so extreme like depression they're using MDMA for. So
That's
it's
right.
like you can understand that you can have euphoric spikes like that, and it's almost like, you know, just shocking the system.
It shows
it's like,
you that happiness is possible.
yeah, it's also pump priming like
Okay.
your nervous
Oh,
system to a
okay.
degree. Where it's just like, oh, you're like you have too many like reuptake inhibitors. What if we just blast you with so much serotonin you can't keep up, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like when you have that thing where, you know, those synapses start pruning after a lot of like unuse. If you're deeply depressed for a long time, what if you just lose the synapses to be like happy? Especially at a young age, if that happens.
Yeah.
Like, you're so like your brain is so plastic when you're younger. What if like, because you're just constantly turning them on and off. It's
Right.
like, what happens if you're deeply depressed for a while during formative years where you're kind of like cementing those permanent neural pathways?
Like you're saying, like we talked about the snowball analogy
Yeah,
in the clefts.
right. It's fucking, dude, it's silly that we would go ahead and try and dismiss something that could be such a powerful medicine.
Right, right. That's the tragedy in it, bro.
And I mean,
And it's also the tragedy in the way the government used it. Like the government,
Oh
the
my
same
God.
people who fucking told us we couldn't use it, tried to fucking, you know, brainwash people and.
but that's why we can't use it, because the CIA figured out how to brainwash people. If MK Ultra never happened, I bet they'd be legal. Or maybe
Yeah.
not, because then it gets like the hippie movement happening, and it's like, wait, you're gonna try and destabilize like our entire way of doing things? Yeah, we're gonna do it better. No, like we don't
Right.
fucking.
It's just that same thing comes back.
Yeah.
To,
It's such a bummer. I think like I almost felt like rap could have been like, because you basically need a music genre that really takes off in order to carry that, because it has to be a cultural revolution.
Yeah.
Like and to like for something as ubiquitous as like music
Mm-hmm.
to be the thing that carries that, like that's something
Makes
that
sense.
yeah, right. It'll get artists like
Yeah.
interested, and like those artists are going to shape the culture to a large degree.
Yeah, music is like a door to like the American emotion.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, dude. You couldn't have put that better. Like that exactly. Like if I thought almost like, okay, we're gonna see like a revolution with like rap music,
like jazz, and then
right,
jazz is a revolution in its own.
Ushering in its own kind of like hippieism or like cultural around it. And I feel like it's only like exacerbated the issues because I guess music became so like corporatized at that time period.
Yeah, just disgustingly corporatized. And
right.
Fucking, those artists all got taken advantage of, and they're still getting taken advantage of.
It's like the people who were making like good like rap music in its inception, they were coming from places where it was just like, how much money?
Yeah.
Like, probably not necessarily like a traditional artistic home where it's like you might have had other kind of like opportunities, or it's like we don't have to settle for this. Like we don't have to settle for this deal that's gonna affect us.
Yeah.
Can you tell that I just watched the Kanye interview? Like,
oh, maybe.
Should we talk about how ridiculous that was?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I want to go out on the record and say I have not even seen it. So, I don't want to talk on it too much, but I did see a couple of clips from it, and the thing with Kanye, this is like my overall take on Kanye. First of all, goddamn genius, like musically, in his, more so at like the beginning of his career, just like listening to some of that, mad scientist, that the best way to put it. Like, dude, listening to some of that music, it puts me in a different zone than most music is able to put me in.
It shows you where a lot of new things came from. Like, you can trace a lot of things that are super, super, super popular, not just in rap, but also like electronic music.
Yes.
How it shaped pop. Like, I mean, I'm not like a Kanye bluff. Like, I'm not like huge into his music. I don't know a ton, but I feel like specifically, like 808s and Heartbreak, you know for a fact, changed an entire generation.
Yo, oh my god, it's one of the first, for us especially, it's one of the first rap songs we listen to, like, more than likely, right?
Yeah. Well, that whole album,
maybe Graduation was more so like the first rap music. Graduation, or Graduation.
I feel like I
had Stronger on it. That was like the first rap song I think I ever heard.
I don't think I got into rap until like sometime in high school.
Yeah.
So it was like, at that time, like 808s and Heartbreak was super popular, and it was just like, whoa. What the fuck?
with what's Heartless.
Yeah,
that song is ridiculous.
You couldn't go to a lacrosse game without that being playing.
No, you couldn't go to anywhere, and that's the thing. Like, that's why I was saying, like, that song, like exactly what you just said. It just brings up so much of your memories. Like, it pulls you back. Like, it's one of those things that you have such a strong connection with. Most people, especially guys, like to listen to like rap music more so, but even girls too. Like, everyone like knows that song. Like. And so that's my point. Like, my general thing about Kanye is, like, I really respect his old music. And, like, I would be doing him such a disservice to not say, like, how much, like, his music I've spent my time on, and, like, his, like, but at the same time.
The problem is he's heard that too many times.
Yeah, it's all in his head. He's like a fucking balloon.
Now.
Yeah, God's like talking to him in his ear, bro. It's just, the thing is, it's like, bro, I can't. But that shit, it's like too much. And it makes you upset, and it makes me also upset the way that he's handling his mental health throughout the thing.
Yeah, it's like absolute, like, not just not acknowledging it, but just like, wait, no, this is a gift. It's like, dude, this is the most unhealthy way to look at that. This is not a conquering mindset. This is not a self-healing mindset.
No,
this isn't even an acknowledgement. Yeah,
it's just ignoring.
Like, it's like if you were still running after you had like a totally bum hip. Like, you're just gonna do more damage, man.
It's really, really demeaning to people who suffer with bipolar.
Yeah.
When he treats it like that on a platform for everyone to see, like, it makes it's a disservice.
Yeah.
The way that he like hides behind it. almost.
And yeah, it almost sets a precedent for people with
Yes.
that disorder. It's just like,
Oh, you're bipolar? Oh, Kanye's bipolar. Fuck, you must be crazy.
yeah.
Fuck you, Kanye.
Yeah.
Good morning, Kanye. Fuck you. Like, dude, like, it's a bummer that he has as much influence as he has sometimes, because, like, man, I wish he would just stop being a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we're not saying that the like environment around him didn't shape that to some degree.
Right,
But
that's
it's like
true.
having an influence, it's like, I don't know if it's possible to take away your own influence, because he said a lot of insane shit. And
Yeah.
people just go, it's Kanye.
Mm,
Like,
true.
but if you know you're struggling with that, you need to have the wisdom, or at least surround yourself
Yeah.
with people who
Yeah.
have the wisdom to say, hey man, step down for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Just chill, gather yourself, like ground yourself, like
No one can tell him that. His ego's too big, bro. He wouldn't listen to anybody.
boy needs to trip.
Boy needs to start tripping those. I don't see God.
Yeah.
Bro, I think the thing with Kanye too is just like, fuck. I don't know, man. Like, we're just.
Yeah, who are we? Right? Like,
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Like, we don't know what it's like to be like him.
Yeah.
And so it's like fair to think through that lens as well. But yeah, it's just like, you know who Joe Rogan and Gary Vee both just interviewed?
Who?
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah.
Mad fucking cool.
Yeah, he's smart. He's smart. He's got
Oh.
a weird kind of southern wisdom.
Dude.
Yeah.
Southern wisdom is the definition of his wisdom. It, like, just the category of his genius
Bro.
is Southern wisdom. And, like, just listen to him talk. Did you see that with Joe?
Yeah.
And he was on Gary Vee, and he said pretty much the same shit Gary Vee, that, like, entrepreneur guy I really like.
Yeah.
And so I was, like, hitting the jackpot in the gym. Like, I got both of them, bro, on, like, both the things I listen to. And it just listen to him, like, and he's an example of somebody who's, like, insanely famous. And,
Right.
and just, like, he is collected, bro. Like, he is so wise.
Yeah.
Just the shit that he does, and I love listening to that kind of thing.
That
It's just-
journaling thing. That was
journaling since he
interesting.
was, what, 14?
Dude, when he said, I realized one day that I gotta start journaling the good parts as good as the bad parts, that is such a metaphor for fucking everything in life.
Everything.
Like, you don't literally gotta journal it, but
Yeah, you better journal
understand
it up
those
here,
memories.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched Inside Out for the first time.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Isn't it amazing?
Fucking amazing.
I haven't seen it.
Dude, okay, for anybody who, like, hasn't seen it, especially if you're struggling with mental health, please watch that fucking movie. Like, it distills it so down to something
Is
that
Matthew McConaughey in it?
no.
Oh.
This whole thing about just, like, you know, including the happy with the
Oh,
sad, like,
okay.
that's like a huge central message of it. Like,
Yes.
it's about, like, these emotions within a human that are personified, then they're, like, struggling to make her happy.
Okay.
But, you know, the whole thing about, like, coming to terms with, like, that sadness, but appreciating and also having the happy is totally distinct. It doesn't have to be a blatant one or the other thing.
Right.
Like, wow. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I watched that movie, like, right before listening to that episode with McConaughey, and I was like,
Wow. It lined up.
yeah, it lined up perfectly where I was just like, okay, like, that's so fucking cool, because they talk about memories as, like, these little orbs.
Okay.
And they store a memory, and it's like each memory's colored the kind that, like, that emotion is colored. Like, happiness is like yellow, sadness is blue, green is like disgust, all that, right? So these different memories, like, you can see the representation of this many happy is a red memory right here, and you go, whoa, like, it kind of sticks out to you. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was made to be like, oh, this is something bad, like,
Yeah.
which, like, honestly, I'm so hyped to have kids so I can just go and see, like, Pixar movies with them, because, like, the art that goes
Pixar
into them, kind of crazy.
I love Pixar movies.
Yeah.
I love them.
The amount of thought that goes into it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It
Inside
has
Out
to
made me go,
appeal.
"What?"
Yeah. Wow. I want to see it, dude.
So good. You'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. I love watching that shit. Like, think about it too. Like, they're making a movie for your kid and you.
Yeah.
Like, the parents might not go bring them the kids if they don't want to watch it too.
Yeah. It's
You
kind
know?
of genius.
It's fucking brilliant, man. Like, you can go back, like, you know something really holds up, when you can go back and watch it again, like now, and be like just as into the story.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love shit like that, dude. I love storytelling.
When there's layers to it like
Yeah.
that, and there's not a whole lot of mediums or like genres, I guess, that still do that kind of like
No, there's not.
deep storytelling.
Yeah.
Like there's some dramas like that. I don't know. Did you watch Devil All the Time?
Mm-mm.
That was a weird movie.
Yeah.
Go watch it sometimes, but it's just like depressing. Like
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's exactly what the title is. Just like
Damn.
let's exemplify the worst in humans.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
It is, but it's also like you almost like breathe a sigh of fresh air afterward.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, it could be so much worse. Like,
True.
because it shows all of it through a personal lens of different
Oh, yeah,
people,
that makes
and
sense.
like something really interesting in it. It was talking about like people who were just like totally psychopathic,
Mm.
like you know, they are like serial killers, or like there's this one guy in it who takes pictures of like guy hitchhikers that he lures, then like kills them and takes pictures as he's killing them, and like that's like sexual for him.
Yeah.
Like, he uses his girlfriend or wife as like he's like cuckolding basically. Like,
Yeah.
using her as the lure, like it's
That's just dark.
it's insane for
Yeah.
showing just like it also like tackles religion in a really interesting way, where like this guy gets a deity like worship for God, and like his wife dies and he's sacrificing a dog, blood for blood,
Oh,
like
Jesus.
yeah, all kinds of crazy shit, like
Jesus.
and he's got like PTSD from being a Nam, and he saw his like sergeant like stapled to a cross and burned, and he was still alive and shit. So he did the same with the dog.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a powerful movie, but it's just like, whoa, one thing like that could totally change you if you
Yeah.
don't have some kind of like really strong basis. Like,
Yeah.
this is, dude, what I want to do with like psychology and like therapy, like if I can somehow get to the point where like I can make that an impossibility,
Mm.
like I don't know if it's gonna be in the form of like a book, or maybe it's a continuation of like, you know, a podcast medium, like, you know, something, or maybe
Yeah,
it's just
something
like
that reaches people, yeah.
maybe it's a way of therapy where it's just like, oh, we can really get into this, like that would just, we'd solve so much, just getting rid
Yeah.
of real like sociopathy, real trauma that's affecting people to like such a degree, like that shit we were talking about the other day where it was like somebody's 10 is their 10.
Yeah.
These are like 20s, like
Yeah, right.
getting rid of 20s. Imagine if we only had 19s to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still awful, but
And like to your point, like you can tell when somebody is a 20. Like
yeah,
they pull from everybody around them, like the energy.
yes,
It's not just like their life is being affected, and like I'm not blaming them for that, like,
no,
but it's just like when you see somebody like that, you know, like you're like whether that energy that person is taking manifests in like making fun of them or feeling bad for them or this, that, and the other. Like when you see somebody that's a 20, you're just like either like, I feel like the two general are like, oh my gosh, how can I help? Or oh my god, like
I want nothing.
I want nothing to
Yeah.
do with that.
It's
and
like,
like
it's almost like a gravitational well of trauma. Like it almost pulls you toward it, and it's like you're slightly
Yeah.
intrigued by the trauma. It's
Yes.
like, whoa, wait, I've experienced this to some degree.
Yes.
And that person is just so all consumed by it,
Mhm.
where it's like the same kind of draw you would get if you realize somebody else is like super into your hobby that might
yeah,
be
I
Like-
get that with music, dude. I
Yeah.
get that with like rappers that are like super depressed.
Yeah.
I don't know why,
Well,
but like I love listening to that shit. Like NF,
mm-hmm.
and NF's like really good. And then Whit Lowry, I used to listen to this kid Whit Lowry. He's like super depressed for sure, but like just like the music is so full of emotion.
Right.
And I think that's what like I like. Not a lot of people like these artists, but like I love NF. Like I don't know if you listen to any of his shit. We should listen to something, dude. His name's Nate, and
He's really good.
he's amazing,
Is
bro.
it what do you mean by like
It just tells his story. He has OCD, and he's depressed constantly, and like his whole life is. But it's like you would love it. Like we should listen to a song after this. Like, he just talks about his struggles with his mental health in his rap music, and it's just so emotional that you feel like if you listen to this and you didn't get like a feeling in your stomach, like I would be worried about you. Like it's like it just pulls you in, like and he's such a good storyteller. Like I was saying earlier, I love listening to a good story, like, and just like man, like I don't know what it is, but like same kind of thing where you're attracted to something that's different and like you don't really understand it, but like you want to, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the conversation of music.
Yes.
It's like that's so interesting. Like it is weird how like music can do that in a lot of ways. Like the way in which somebody talks about something, like I don't know, have you listened to much Fleet Foxes?
Mm-mm.
Fleet Foxes is amazing.
Okay.
They're like it's like an abstract rock.
Okay.
Like they do all kinds of weird shit, like just an 8-minute or 12-minute long song. This is one song, I think it's 12 minutes, called 3rd of May. It's on Crack Up. It's so good, man. It's just like this constant instrumental conversation that you're just listening into, and like you can interpret whatever kind of meaning you want from it, but like you can feel like those weird moments where there's no voice. It's like the artist is just talking through the instrument, but you can still feel that gravitational well. And maybe it's not trauma, maybe it's just a poignant emotion in like one aspect. Yeah. But like that's just so like it's like gut wrenching, especially if you're chemically altered. Like it's definitely like way more just like, oh wow, like I feel like I'm getting something pulled from my chest, like
that's what artists are, dude. Right? Like that's like. Artists are just like the full embodiment of emotion. Like emotion, instead of being in like a form in your brain, it's like an acted out form of emotion. Like it's just like it just is pulled from people. Like it's just a way of expression, obviously, which is like like music is a way of expression. But like going into that, it just feels like maybe there's no other way that person can really express themselves at all.
That's
like,
kind of what it takes to really be big.
I think so, dude.
Pouring that whole well into your art,
like
whether it be music or
any artist, any true artist is just like full emotion, like emotion, and it needs to be like released through their medium. Like that fucking guitar solo. I mean, that's a perfect example. What's the guitar? Europa by Santana. And when you listen to that, it's like you're having a come to moment. Like you're experiencing an awakening when you listen to that fucking guitar solo. It's like 6 minutes.
It feels so like sobering.
Yes.
Because you're just like, wait, what? I didn't know this could happen.
He's speaking to you, but he's not speaking. Right. It's the only way that he can. And just like it's so beautiful that he has a way where he can hold his guitar and speak that much dense emotion into something that doesn't talk. It's like,
dude, I wonder how much of that's just riffing. How much of that is him just growing up? And
it's that fucking unconscious fucking thing we were talking about last time.
Yeah, just absolute flow state.
Yeah, it has to be.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because you're right. Like, to be a great musician, you have to enter a flow state with an instrument.
Yeah.
That's such a weird fucking thing. Like, the fact that, like, it's so easy for us to enter flow states with, like, sports, like...
things we enjoy.
Right, and it's like, what would happen if everybody could like, or just what would happen if some people could enter flow state for like anything? Yeah. Like, what's the craziest thing you could think of that somebody would like get flow state for?
All right, let me think. Fuck, I don't know. What do you got?
Like emotions. Like, could you get?
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like what?
Maybe, yeah, or like, yeah.
Obviously, that'd be dangerous if you got into a flow state with like,
Right.
dude.
Violence.
Wait. What if you can get stuck in flow states, and then like depression is getting stuck in like a sadness flow state that you can't escape. So like anger issues are getting stuck in anger that you can't escape. Maybe anxiety is like disgust flow
Turbulence.
state, or turbulence, like fear,
Pressure.
right? Like what the fuck? Like
Mental health.
Did that blow your mind as much as it just blew my? That might be so wrong.
No, but dude, let's fucking figure it out. So like you're saying mental health through a frame of a flow state that's latched onto
If you don't know any
emotion.
flow states feel good.
Yeah, if it's a good emotion.
You just go, well, I mean, dude, you went into a flow state with like rugby or you played soccer for like 4 years, right? Or longer.
For years.
Years.
Yeah.
You got into a flow state in soccer. Wasn't that the best feeling?
It was yeah, something different about that when you're like I can remember times I'm like doing a trick in the yard or whatever, like getting moved down.
Yeah.
And it's like it's happening without conscious thought.
Right.
And
you're
you're just
out
like
of body.
You're out of body, bro. And it feels so good. Even if it just happened once that I did it exactly how I wanted to.
Right.
That is like such a rush.
So, okay, this dissociation that happens with physical flow states, like whether you're totally observing the field or totally aware of a trick that you're doing, or just totally aware of what your body's doing, that same kind of dissociative aspect happens with extremely severe depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety. So if you have a really exacerbated case of flow state on one specific emotion, you can dissociate because really intense flow state in any other activity.
You don't even know you're flowing.
Yeah, you dissociate. You have that third person view. That if we follow that train of logic, like that's like, and that might be unfounded. I know it's unfounded.
But
it's
listen,
also,
we just found it.
Well,
Fuck
maybe,
it.
maybe.
But
Yeah.
like, I love that. I think that is such a beautiful way to put it because if you make it a game, bro, then you can win.
Right. Especially with the fact that like,
right?
if you think about like people who get like, if you're really, really, really good at one sport, you're gonna enjoy other sports, but you're like,
It's not the same.
I'm a basketball player.
Yeah.
I play soccer and football, but I'm a basketball player because that flow state is so unique for that, and that's why you carry so much aspects of that one sport into another sport.
If you could do that with happiness or empathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or just if you get stuck in that, just know, it might benefit you in this sport if you have another sport. So if you have that flow state for like sadness or anger or
depression,
fear, whatever, right? Like,
yeah, it
maybe
makes you
I should-
stronger.
I should just spend time on another flow state, and it's gonna be really, really, really hard, and it's not just up
Not
to
gonna
you.
be natural. It's not gonna be the way your brain wants to move.
It's not gonna be natural.
Yeah. But you're gonna do it anyways, bro, because you understand, like, what could happen if it worked.
That's a beautiful coined term too. Enter a positive flow state, bro. Oh, there's our hippie movement, dog. Hippie movement.
Enter a bro. Let's start flowing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that would be so fucking sick. I think I do that sometimes.
I feel like this podcast gets me there.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a positive flow state.
That's what we are.
Yeah. Or like, just anything that you have passion for.
Yes,
like,
it
there's your
brings you
positive
into
flow
a
state.
different fucking zone.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could get jealous and self-conscious people into a empathetic flow state,
Yeah.
or like a
What could that do in terms of understanding the other side as well?
yeah.
You convert
Oh my
one
god.
person. Like that's why I feel like the people who like when you do work on yourself and you better understand
Yes.
yourself, you can empathize with other people better. There's some people it's gonna still be very, very hard to empathize with. But like having that one extra perspective,
Yeah.
whoa. And that person who's had that happy flow state their whole life, bless them, but they're not gonna have that understanding.
Yeah, you gotta have it, and it helps you to be like more well-rounded. It's like a video game, bro, where like
Yeah.
it's like a video game where like if you get really good at one video game, like you're saying, you already said it, like it makes you better at other video
Right,
games. So it's
right.
like if I could just like learn how to like be depressed for a flow state, and like then how much better would I be at like helping my friends or just like understanding other people?
What if
It's like a step in the other shoes.
What if that could become a monastic tradition in the same dude, that Breathe book where he's talking about going into a like isolation, breathing for a very long time, working specifically on that. What if you like go a monastic lifestyle in which you aim to enter flow state in every emotion to understand so deeply what everybody's feeling? Like, and I'm sure there are ways to do that other than meditation, but what if there was like a guru out there that could do that?
Yes.
Somebody who, you know, the same thing as being able to like change your fingertips. You could just change your emotions like that and you're so in it immediately. Somebody, you could talk to them and just immediately totally empathize with their state because you can get just as far as they are.
It's like it's like I'm a video game. My emotions are a video game and your emotions are a video game.
I just plug in your cartridge.
I'm playing your game, bro, and you're playing mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's
Dude.
just like that.
Further, okay, now we're making a cult. Like, now we're gonna make a cult.
Fuck it. We already got the bandanas, bro. Isn't that like the first step?
Yeah. Bandanas, no shirts, only jorts. Everybody.
Everybody get with it, yo.
Yeah, I guess that's like the uniform for now.
Right.
That, dude, I mean, that whole thing about, like, it's so interesting. Like, if we hadn't listened to that book, like, that connection wouldn't have been made.
No.
Like, also, your idea about, like, the experiment we can do.
Yeah.
That sounds really fucking good. Do you want to intro them?
We back, motherfucker.
We back.
It's an experiment. The experiment. So, the other day, just so you guys, I'll give you some behind the scenes information. So, like, Nate and I, what we do is, like, we have an idea and we, like, text or call each other about it for the podcast. We're like, all right, let's do this. Every time we're just, like, fucking hype. We're like, okay, we've got a new idea for the podcast. So, I'm driving over to see Carolyn, and I'm, like, calling Nate. I'm like, all right, Nate, I just had an idea. So, what if we started doing experiments within, like, the literature that we're reading? Like, just like we read a book that we fuck with from from whatever source, and then something in there we think could be like impactful and like change our lives or like change somebody else's life, and then we just do it for a week, and then we come back and we like discuss how it went.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We can do some journaling along the way, like, this is how I was feeling today, like, blah, blah, blah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Do some journaling. That was what you were saying on the phone. You're like, yeah, let's write that shit out.
Right.
We can share our journals, like, of how we're feeling when we do that activity.
Yeah. I mean, probably the best avenue to do that, like, this whole thing, like, this experiment, that's a continuation of, like, this original book club idea.
Right.
We would fucking love to set up, like, a book club type thing where, like, you know, whatever we're reading, we're gonna let you guys know, like, you can read along with us, and then we can do this experiment together.
Yeah.
You don't gotta do it with us if you don't want to, but
It's just if you want to.
yeah, if you want to, we're gonna dive into that, and that could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Also, if we do those experiments, if we can get a larger sample size, like,
that'd be cool to send your results in.
Yeah,
Right.
Email us, call us, like,
it kind of legitimizes the experience that we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And we would love it if, like, you guys let us know that you were doing that, because like the reason we want to do a book club is we were just like, how cool would it be if, like, other people were, like, kind of following along, because, like, I know if I was watching a video every week, I would want to be like, if I was reading the same book, I would be like, oh, I like listening to Nate and Hale, so, like, I'm gonna, like, think what I'm thinking about the book, and then I want to hear what they're thinking. Like, I can't wait to, like, hear what they're thinking, and maybe no one gives a fuck what we're thinking, but, like, it might be fun to read along with us and, like, comment or whatever, and, like, your opinions on.
Yeah, dude. Even if you're pointing,
cool.
Even if they're pointing fun at how stupid our takes are.
Yeah,
like,
which is perfect,
that.
bro. Yeah, we're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
What do we know?
How else do we grow? Like,
exactly.
That could be so sick. So this first one.
Yeah.
What are we doing exactly?
I think we should go with the tape, and just so for part of the book Breath that we read, James Nestor, we read this book called Breath, and it's kind of like this idea where this guy just goes into, we already talked about it, but he's like into breathing.
Yeah.
And he wants, like, he does this thing at night, right? So this is like, well, this is our challenge. Like, we're going to try and do this like every day this week or whatever, until the next podcast, starting tomorrow night. And so what we're going to do is like tape our mouths shut when we sleep, because he talks about like how important it is to breathe through your nose.
Right.
So Nate is like a chronic snorer, and I don't snore at all. So it's going to be interesting to see like how we feel in the morning when we wake up. Like, we've already both tried it once, and we both, I think, pulled the tape off.
Yeah, mine fell off.
Yours
I did that
fell off.
Shitty Scotch tape.
Okay.
Not good.
Yeah, and you gotta maybe like find some that you can put on like 2 strips kind of thing. So like,
I think AT tape is the way to go.
AT tape would be perfect. And so it's kind of thing where like, just so people in the audience know, you're not like completely duct taping your mouth shut. It's like you have a couple strips that keep your mouth closed, and then if you needed to breathe for some reason, you just open your mouth and you could breathe.
Right.
But the purpose is like not to breathe through your mouth throughout the night, because that causes like sleep apnea, and like you're basically like choking on your tongue, and like just, he talks about it in the book. It's so fascinating.
Develop those nasal muscles.
The sinus muscles, to open your sinus and shit.
That would be sick. Like,
so cool. I do it like when I think about it sometimes, and when I think about it, I try to breathe like, you know.
Yeah.
The way.
The only time I'm really good about it is like during workouts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just
during when
like,
you lift?
Yeah, I get so I used to get like lightheaded every time I'd squat.
Yeah, I get
big
lightheaded as fuck.
breaths.
Yeah.
Every time. And it's just like starting to do it through the nose.
Yeah.
And forcing it through the nose.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, wait a second. I don't need that much.
Yeah.
Like, because you still get the bracing as you're breathing out. Your diaphragm is still coming up. Like, you're still going to get like that abdominal pressure.
Right.
And you're still going to be able to make your lift. You're going to have enough oxygen to power your muscles.
Yeah.
Like, it's all a mental thing.
Right.
Like, especially like with bench, I'm the worst about it, just because like it's probably like my weakest lift, and I'm doing so much to try and like make sure that bar gets up.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, okay, I need that big exhale on the way up to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But restricting it to my nose, I realize it's like I can go for more. Like that first set, you're like, even if I'm doing 3x6, watch me get 8 here.
Word.
And then second set, you're like, I'll settle for 6.
Yeah.
And then third set,
your
you're
brain
like,
plays that game.
come on, 6.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But breathing through your nose, it's so much more like, I got 8 in the first one. I got 7 on the second one. Easy 6 on the last one.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting that kind of burnout.
Yeah. Right. And that's what the book talks about, right? So it's like, just to clarify for people who aren't reading along, like the book will talk a lot about how much better of a breath you're getting when you breathe through your nose. It's humidified and warmed up in a way that like your lungs accept it more easily, right?
Yeah.
And so when you breathe in and breathe out more slowly, instead of like hyperventilating, the book will talk about like hypoventilating,
right?
Where like you breathe really slow, and it just like it's all about the CO2 levels. And something that's interesting is like my brother's super into the sciences, like kind of how you used to be like freshman and sophomore year, like you still are, I'm sure, but like, you know what I mean, like you were studying it, like you know, now you're just like you're more into the psychology and shit, but which is still like a science, but
soft science.
Yeah, right. So Alden is like really into like hard science, and I was trying to tell him about reading the book, how James talks about these like pulmonauts who, like, I forget the name of the one who I'm thinking of, but he discerned that like, or decided that like you can actually control how your the muscles around your diaphragm consciously move, whereas like in science that's not supposed to be the case. Like you're not supposed to be able to be in charge of a system like the diaphragm, because breathing is subconscious as well as conscious, and when you're subconscious your muscles are supposed to move themselves. But the book talks about how like you can train yourself to slow down your diaphragm breathing.
Right. It's like that thing we were talking about before, like flow state for different things.
Yeah.
It's flow state for breathing. Like,
yeah, right.
They're
right.
really doing that. Like, and obviously, you know, we're not going to get to that level just by, you know, doing this experiment. But if we can, like, you know, if our endurance gets better, maybe
Yeah.
we'll time ourselves on like some runs or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I have dog shit endurance right now.
Oh, absolutely, me too.
But if we're going from bottom,
Yeah.
like that could be interesting to see. Okay, nothing else is acting on this. How much is this impacting our like,
Right.
you know, max like O2 levels,
VO2
like,
or whatever. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that'd be fun to see actually. Yeah, and I think the other thing we can just see is like, do you have like any sort of like wearable?
I don't have an Apple Watch.
Yeah, you don't have any. You don't have like a Fitbit or anything.
No.
Just it'd be good if we could see like something that tracked our sleep, so how much
That's
we
true.
snore, how much. But you know, like we can't do the full experiment. But I think we'll just know like how much. Like you'll know just. I'm guessing by how good you feel in the morning.
Yeah.
Like if you're in sleep apnea for part of your night, that means like you're not getting good rest,
Right.
Because there's a lack of oxygen in your brain.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially like we can do that kind of thing where it's like, how am I feeling this day?
Yeah, the journaling.
Did the tape stay on?
Right.
If it did I notice like any kind of differences?
Mhm.
Was it easier to breathe through my nose?
Right.
What was my like mile time? How long could I stay on the treadmill before I got a little bit uncomfortable? Because that's kind of a good test. Because if you have really good like, if you have really balanced like oxygen intake, like he was talking about this, you're not going to be like huffing and puffing. It's like you're going to be focused and you're going to be in it, and you might be hurting a little bit, but your breathing's going to stay pretty regular.
He said like one of the tests for like a ninja warrior to be like a certified ninja warrior like, in Japanese culture was like they put a feather under their nose, and like if they were breathing in or out and the feather moved, then they weren't ready.
That's pretty sick.
Wicked cool. I love anything that can make it like more like a movie, which is like such a tendency of like the culture that we've consumed since we were born.
Yeah, but it's tough not to though, because that
there's nothing wrong with it. I just think it's kind of cool. Like it's like the ninja thing. It just that's a trigger for me. I'm like, okay, that's dope. Let me listen to this more, because
easily relatable thing.
So cool.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be good to see. So what we're gonna do is from now until the next podcast, tape our mouths up. We're gonna try. You know, like I ripped mine off in my sleep subconsciously, kind of like last time. Like I just pulled them off. But we're gonna do our best. Write it in. I feel like by the second or third night, we'll keep them on for the whole night. I've had to guess.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, and then we'll just write about how it's going. Like, how's your throat feel when you wake up? Because like I like to sleep in the cold, so I lift my window up.
Yeah,
but
I wake up and my throat's fucked.
I bet.
Yeah.
And you're a snorer, dude. Like I breathe through my nose when I sleep most of the time, from as far as I know. But like I'd be excited to see this experiment.
Yeah, I think we're gonna throw a link up to the audiobook.
Yeah. Just listen to it, man.
Yeah.
It's so sick.
It'll be up on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make like a book club section on like our stories or something.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be super interesting. And then we already kind of got the next one planned for the following week. We don't got to divulge anything about that right now, but
we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Well, if you care to know, then we'll have to intrigue you into the next episode.
Yeah.
But we do have one. We do have one lined up, and we think that will be a fun way to like get some engagement with our audience. Like we want to make this like an experience where, in the age of, or in the short-term time span of like Zoom calls and like virtual reality, so to speak, like we want to make this an experience that we can like cross the bridge through the camera and like come into affect your life as well.
Yeah.
And hopefully in a positive way.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right.
Some people are going to be upset, but it's just
For
like,
sure. That's okay. Let them be upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't practiced their stream of consciousness well enough.
Exactly.
They'll get there.
They're
right?
not thinking flow state.
And and like the people who get upset, bro, like it's only right that we react empathetically.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
You know, like anyone who like, it was weird. Like today I was going through I was making this on a private story because I don't want this to be like a problem for us with the school and that kind of thing. So I was like, let me just go through and just throw people on my private story. And it was interesting because I would look at a name and be like, oh yeah, like this person's like I'm okay with them hearing my opinions.
Yeah.
But not only the snitch thing, which is a layer of it, but on a much deeper level. I was like, okay, this person I'm okay with hearing what I think.
Yeah.
And then some people I'd skip over, and then I would force myself to be like, why did you just not force myself like in the moment I didn't revisit it, and in the moment I didn't really feel the weight of that revisit, but now that I'm more like in this zone where I'm reflecting, I'm thinking like, wow, why did I not click that person to be on my personal story?
Right.
Because I'm worried about what they're gonna think, or I'm worried about the repercussions of them listening to me and how that would affect me like in my daily life.
Yeah, dude. I mean, social media is just like, it's just a broader, more disengaged way to have normal communication. So like, it's the same kind of thing of having to watch your tongue around certain people. Like, there's like a big thing is, you know, be yourself. Right. Like, but then it's also the conflicting message of, you know, don't totally be yourself. Some things, like,
right. Like,
you know,
it comes with an asterisk, bro, with some fine print.
Yeah.
Be yourself comes with some fine print.
Which is reasonable, but it's also like, how do we get to that like free kind of place? Because if everybody was that free, nobody would mind if everybody was themselves.
And no one, dude. Well, that's the thing. It's like if everyone was that free, then nobody would be self-conscious.
Maybe this is where that hippie revolution starts.
We gotta start being fucking free.
Yeah.
Free from the opinions of other people, and that is like such an important fucking staple in being happy.
Yeah. In
my opinion, is just not caring what other. I mean, you just can't. You just can't spend that energy. It's like I'll have a conversation where I'm like with my parents and Alden at home, right? And we're talking, and Alden's mad about something, and my mom and dad are like, they're not fueling it, but they're like,
it's not the most productive way.
It's not the most productive way to like, what's it called? Unpack those emotions. And my mom and dad are like, yeah, Alden, like, I understand why you're mad. Like, it's okay to be mad about that. Like, that pisses us off. But I'm more like, Alden, like, I literally will say, like, dude, if you spend your energy being mad about that, then you're just hurting yourself. You don't have the physical or the emotional energy. You don't have the emotional energy to spend on being angry.
Yeah.
Right? And my mom is like, and my mom goes, yeah, that's what he said. Like, literally, like, and I'm like, okay, like, I think that, like, that's kind of the thing where it's like, mom and dad are taught to be, like, strong, and, like, their generation is, like, semi-independent, and they take pride in that, right? And, like, our generation is more, like, dependent, and, like, we're more easily influenced, and we're more easily emotional, right? And, like, because we're more in touch with that. But at the same time, when I'm like, all in, like, listen, and, like, this is one of the things that's just, like, so, that rings so true in my life. It's just, like, if you choose to be angry, then, like, we've talked about this before, but it's like, you're manifesting that. Like, don't, like, Alden's been really good recently. Like, it makes me so happy to see how, like, well he's doing, but I just, like, sometimes it would be, like, he'd be holding a grudge or, like, keeping those, like, the weight of that anger inside of him, and it's just like, dude, imagine if you spent that time not being angry, how much good that would do, you know?
It's the flow state thing.
Yeah, we're flowing into that, bro, into happiness.
Yeah.
Out of anger. It's so hard to say it. Like, it's so hard to say it to somebody else and have them understand it.
I know. And I'm glad that we were both able to, like, just immediately interpret exactly what that means. Like,
yeah.
That's what, like, I feel like, this is why I love talking to you, because, like, I feel like it's just, we understand without having to fully dive into it.
Right.
And I'm hopefully you viewers can relate, like, just you know, in a lot of interactions, it's kind of like, okay, I'm like getting the message across and I'm trying to describe it,
And they don't get it.
They just don't get it.
They don't get it.
Yeah.
That is a frustrating disconnect.
It's very frustrating.
When people don't get it.
Especially when you're trying to do something, if it like if the intention behind it is positive. Where
Right.
It's like, wait, no, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
But
it's misinterpreted.
It's misinterpreted, or sometimes it's straight up just not helpful. I know I've tried to do that sometimes, and it's been unnecessary, or
when you can be a little like, well, anyone could be a little like colorblind to the situation or whatever, where you like input something that does not like directly. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. No, but dude, that's pretty cool. I think, like, overall, just the fact that we can have a conversation and just. Like, I know what you're saying before you say it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, not every time, but, like, you know, I feel like we have that kind of, like, fluidity where you and I are, like, we'll go into something and, like, you'll kind of say it in your way and then I'll say it in my way. And I feel like some people will, like, understand them when you say it and not me and vice versa.
Right.
And, like, it's fun to, like, kind of, like, dissect our ideas and, like, I think, like, a lot of what this podcast does for me on, like, a therapeutic level is, like, it helps me, like, I look forward to this.
Yes.
And it just helps me to be more understanding of the organization of my life and the way that I see the world. It helps me to, like, it's amazing because you and I will talk for, like, fucking 2.5 hours and then all of a sudden I feel like everything, like, in my room is clean now.
Yeah.
Like, my shirts are folded and my shoes are stacked and, like, everything just makes sense. And, like, it doesn't fix everything, but it's like, okay, I feel now like I've taken the time I need to better understand how I feel about things, how I feel about things, not how other people want me to feel. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. It's, like, it's empowering in, like, a certain way, but it's also just so nice, like, because we have similar perspectives, but they're also opposite in a lot of ways. So having that kind of, like, having that check, it's just like, oh, like that's so, it's so nice because then you're just like, what the fuck, what was I thinking? Or
like I said earlier, literally, I said that earlier. But it just being humble enough to say that, dude, like, it's hard to have a conversation with somebody. I'm not trying to, like, gas myself up. I know that sounded so arrogant, but, like, with you too, I feel like it's hard. I get this with you and I don't get it with other people. It's so hard to have a conversation with somebody where they're, like, able to admit that they're wrong.
And I mean, we all fall into that. I know for a fact. So many, dude, especially when, like, stuff gets, like, political. It's just, like, it's so hard to admit wrongness. Like, and I'm sure everybody can relate to that. Like,
no, dude, there's this Mac Miller song. I don't think I've showed you it yet. It's called That's On Me, and it's on his newest Swimming album, and it's, like, one of my favorite songs of all time. And he just says, like, the song is just about him admitting he was wrong.
I've listened to it, but I don't think I've really listened to it.
We'll listen to it sometime, dude. Like I said, like, you and I'll get high and we'll just listen to some music, bro, and we'll make a little playlist about it. Maybe we'll share that shit up with the viewers. But this song is just, like, for me, it's just so refreshing to hear somebody who I look up to say that they were wrong. Like, that is such a real and true form of honesty because there's so much at stake. You have to risk your own vulnerability to be honest about being wrong.
Right.
People don't do that. People don't do that. Like, adults, developed adults don't admit they're
the
wrong.
Highest rungs of leadership as well.
Right.
Which is kind of like, what the fuck?
Horrifying.
Yeah.
It's like, what did you have to do to get here? What amazing things did you have to do to get here? And now you're here and you're ruining it. Like,
right. Ugh.
That's sickening.
Yeah, that is really sad, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's why, like, it's so important that, like, people understand that leadership isn't just being the loudest voice in the room.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's being the quietest. Like, you know, the best thing, like, that I think can be done, like, if you're in a leadership role, like,
listen.
Yeah, listen, have empathy, have compassion.
Yeah,
like,
just listen.
And that's, like,
channeling the energy. That's what leadership is for me. It's channeling the energy of other people.
Yes.
Because, like, you need someone to channel it.
Yeah.
You need somebody to be, like, the spirit guide of creative energy.
Yeah.
That's what leadership is. It's being a spirit guide of creative energy.
Yeah.
And you're you're like an
shaman.
You're like an airbender from Avatar, and you're like, you take that energy and you're like, and you put it into something that makes money, or something that makes people happy, or everything in between. Like, that is what it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's some true shit. Damn. Dude, that's such a hard task. If, breaking that down into smaller parts, it's like...
Seeing the other side, bro.
Seeing the other side.
Understanding who your team is.
Having the patience to act on that. Having the emotional stability to be able to encompass that.
It takes time, bro.
Yeah.
It takes... That's what I was trying to... we kind of got sidetracked outside before when we were, doing our tasks.
Yeah.
Our pregame tasks. But I got just sidetracked, but that's something that Scouts has really given me, dude. It's just that leadership aspect where I feel like I went to leadership training camps and I was in charge of different things within the troop or whatever, and just it's hard to explain it to people because it seems so foreign, but I would not be who I am without that, and that practice in being a leader. Everyone, when you're a scout, if you want to advance in rank, this is one of the more beautiful parts about scouts. You have to hold a leadership position to advance in rank. So it breeds accountability.
Right.
At a level where you understand the bigger picture, and you understand what you do affects this person this way and this person another way, and it gives you a perspective into the mind of other people when you have to be in charge of something, even if it's a little aspect the quartermaster who keeps everything neat and organized.
But it's still important.
It's still important,
dude. That having those roles within a small controlled organization that so important for instilling some kind of sense of purpose and also just autonomy.
Yep.
Because then you get so confident in your ability to just act in an industrial manner by yourself. That sounds like that's a crazy important trait or gift that it's given you. What do you feel like? Top 3. What are the top 3 most impactful things? I don't know if there are a top 3. Whatever. What are the most impactful things that you feel like Scouts has given you? Because that's an experience that I haven't had, but people who I'm really close with, they've gone through that journey, become Eagle Scouts and all of that, and you can see how that shapes them. And there's some of the best people I know.
I'm an Eagle Scout too. And it's the journey of becoming an Eagle Scout is so interesting, and it's so skewed and misconceived because of the nature of Scouts. And I understand that. I can laugh about it. I understand, what I mean? I'm humble enough to say, I can laugh about it. I understand, why people wouldn't like it, but for me, it's been, leadership is the first thing that came to mind for your question. That's the most important thing that I've learned, and, just to be more detailed, just, first of all, lead by example was always such a, impounding thing in my, development. Just, what you do matters, and people are gonna watch that. And if you want to be a leader, a real leader, then you have to make a decision that you would want the rest of the people who are following you to make. And so it's you can't be selfish. And that's something I learned. And it just, dude, 1.5 million things from that program. And I think it just adds value. It adds, it's a dad to a kid who doesn't have a dad.
Right.
It is fucking program a bunch of friends to a kid who can't make friends. It's so cool in that way, and that there's a bunch of oddballs, but there's also a bunch of people that are semi-regular who perceive themselves to be regular who also do it. And that was kind of my experience with it. It's more athletic and sporty kids, we would just do the hiking and high adventure stuff, and I think for me it's the benefits of it are just becoming more aware of, I think, practice being around people.
Yeah.
And when you're leading people, you have to be on your game.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just practice being around people and how they react to a certain thing. The better you can understand that, that's the hardest part about leadership, is catering to every single teammate.
Right. Yeah, because it's not like you're just dealing with yourself or how you want to react in that
Yes.
situation.
Yeah, and productivity lies in the hands of the people who you need to support.
Right.
And if you don't support them correctly, their productivity is going to be lacking.
And that's such a tough thing because like, no matter what kind of structure you look at that within, like that's such an important, it's a necessary like tool for somebody to have. And I mean, necessary, I guess, for a leadership position like a manager or whatever, but a massive boon for everybody else to have.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
Especially like, even if it's just one of those things where you are a participator and not a leader, like, you know, you're still contributing, but also if you understand what's happening, then it like makes it so much easier to just like not fall in line, but
step back and watch it happen.
yeah, step back and like have the confidence to just like, okay, I trust that this person is going to guide us right now,
and airbend the energy in the right direction.
Yeah,
Just like
Airbend it.
a little, you know, like just a little
Yeah.
slight blow. Like the energy's going this way, we'll go,
What?
but it's still your energy.
Yeah.
But I just moved it a little bit so that we could, because that's something else. Like being a leader, like you have to keep the goals in mind of like what you're trying to achieve. You know, so it's like if you can keep people focused and happy, and like and understanding of each other, like that's the best thing a team can do, bro. It's just that's the best part about rugby.
Yeah.
We've met so many fucking weird people.
I love
It's amazing.
Dude, the best thing ever is weird people.
How much do you learn when you meet somebody who's so weird?
Dude, you learn so much. Not only do you learn so much
Subconsciously.
about, you learn
Without trying
you
to.
learn so much about life, but also so much more about yourself.
Yes. And how you react to it. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
And being around like those kinds of people, like low key, this is gonna sound dumb.
Yeah,
I
hit me.
hate being around normal people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you.
People who are so thoroughly in like the mainstream of things.
It's like
just
it's
like,
a big yawn.
yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
that's not fun.
No.
Like,
Fuck that.
I love like people who are just a little off.
Yes.
Because I feel like I'm a little off. So it's like not only does like not misery.
Maybe you're just a little awake.
Maybe they're really awake.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and I just feel like there's always something to be gained from that. Like a mantra that I've always lived by since I heard this was like, you know, you can learn from absolutely everybody, whether you are adopting a trait that you find virtuous or you are rebelling against a trait that you hate or really like offended you. You know, because then it's like you can learn what to do or what not to do. Like that, I feel like that's such an important like virtue to live by.
Yeah. That's so real, dude. I love that.
But that's why it feels so unfulfilling to talk to somebody who doesn't have a unique worldview or
just the ability to see the other side and discuss with you about certain things, like it just that helps you understand yourself better. Like I think people find value in things that value directly themselves, and like just because you find value in things that make you understand you better doesn't mean like it's not a good thing for other people too.
Exactly, because then it increases your ability to interact with others. It's not just a vanity thing.
Yeah.
But like that's also like, dude, a huge thing nowadays. Like, I feel like we've talked about this before, but the whole thing about putting up a shell.
Yeah,
like,
we did.
It's such a thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like a cultural phenomenon to put up a shell.
Right.
And it's crazy with the amount of mental health awareness that we have now, where it's still such a pervasive thing, where it's like putting up that shell is almost cool. Like, it's really weird. I can understand it. Like, I know I shell myself all the time. Sometimes I'm just your little turtle walking around campus. Like, I'm not peeking out at all. And
I do that too.
But we recognize it's a defense mechanism.
Right.
And it's like, when we are around other people and we're not just going around our day-to-day to-dos or, I gotta do this real quick so I don't want to interact with other people. Like, if in those moments where we are supposed to be interacting with other people, if we really do interact with other people, that's like so much more powerful. Because then it's like you're completely getting rid of that shell. You're being totally open. You're having a real conversation with them.
Yeah.
Like, and that does so much also for, like, we've talked a lot about, like, understanding, like, the other side, like, that whole thing about entering flow states for different emotions, empathizing with people better. Like we harp on that, like empathy, like kindness, like
understanding and just acceptance. Yeah.
To be able to have your walls totally down, especially there are some people who just have an energy about them that makes you want to take your walls down.
Yes.
And for me, that's weird people. Weird people, I feel like my walls just come down because it's like, dude, I don't know.
How can I be weirder than you?
Well, exactly. Yeah, which is such a vain and arrogant way to look at it, but for us broken people, it's just like, that's maybe what we need.
I think that you could consider me broken because that I love. I love it when I can be around somebody and be like, this person is so goddamn authentic.
Yeah.
I don't even care what I do because I know they don't. If they don't care what they do, then there's no way they care what I do.
Exactly. Hey, dude. Yes.
That is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's amazing to be able to experience an environment that is created, and that is beautiful too, that humans can create environments that you could, like, I can almost physically feel an environment where I'm safer subconsciously.
Yes.
You're relaxed.
Dude, 100, I think everybody can relate with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a huge thing. I feel like our rugby team is like that in a lot of ways. It's this kind of thing where it's just like, I can do whatever the fuck, and everybody's gonna accept me here because, like, we're all a little weird, and we're all appreciative of each other's oddness. Like, I mean, I know, like, I can't even think, like, I don't know how many of the clubs I've found here, but, like, you know what's been really helpful for that? Like, D&D, like Dungeons and Dragons, like, I'm into that shit. Like, I
big
love
time.
It. Like, it's playing that, it's like, like, I definitely enjoy playing with, like, my friends who got into it at the same time I got into it, like, later on, more, because, you know, it's like, we don't have as much craziness, but, like, there are some people who you meet through that are just, dude, off their fucking rocker, just out to lunch.
Yes.
And it's interesting talking to those people, because then it's like, oh, I'm learning a lot about this, and like, you have such a, like, weirdly unique worldview, and I can see how this relates to part of my personality. Like, let's talk about this.
Because you both contribute a piece that is similar, that actively, like, contributes to the culture of that of that activity.
100%.
Which is amazing. And that's one of the most, that's got to be one of the best parts about being a human, is finding a similarity, because we crave that, don't we? Don't we just crave consistency and similarity?
Similarity, acceptance, consistency.
And just being able to find a small area where you just get somebody and you don't have to say shit, and you smile subconsciously, and you're like, okay, I'm talking to this dude about fucking Dungeons and Dragons. And guess what, dude? I'm telling you what, I get him on a different level.
Right.
Like, you might get somebody who's way out there on Dungeons and Dragons at a way deeper level than you and I will ever get each other in that section.
Right. And you learn something so interesting about their psychology.
Yeah.
Like, or talking to people who are really, really into weightlifting.
Yeah.
Or really, really into, like, rugby. Like,
anything that you're that into.
Yeah. That's the beautiful people about weird people. Or that's the beautiful thing about weird people. They all have a crazy passion, and the most entertaining thing is talking to somebody who has a crazy passion about something.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like that tick. It's almost like that tick that we talk about, where it's like something's a little off.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like in a way that you're like putting them down. It's just like something's not right, but something takes over that, like the energy that isn't, like, completely there is just being channeled in a way that, like, most people don't have an ability to channel it.
Yes. It's not this weird thing of finding, like, the one scale that sticks out. It's like finding a gold coin among a bunch of pennies. You're just like, whoa. Not to say that most people are pennies. They're not.
No, I get you.
Reducing.
I get you.
So, I mean, the fuel for that is passion, though. Like, and a huge thing, especially now that we have, like, so easily just numb ourselves with, like, I'm gonna watch Netflix or I'm gonna watch Hulu. Like, I find it so difficult to, like, actually, like, go after things that I still want to be passionate about.
Yeah.
When I was younger, like, we kind of were like the first generation to grow up with like the internet throughout our whole childhood. And I mean, 100% that had an effect on how we grew up.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I was younger, it was very, like, so much easier to get into things that I was passionate about.
Yeah.
Granted, there were less things in the world at that time for me, because just, like, I wasn't aware of all these other different avenues. But, like, you know, now, like, sometimes I do feel like I'm in an in-between place where it's like, maybe I need to find that next passion.
Me
like,
too.
Let's get weird again. Like,
Yeah. Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. I found a passion. Here, let me double check really quick, bro. Make sure. All right, yeah, we're still recording. We're just over 2 hours right now.
oh, okay.
But I just wanted to make sure because I got scared. The last one got cut short.
Yeah, we ran out.
Dude, but yeah, no, I hear you, and like I feel like that energy that you put towards a passion is just like sometimes I worry that I don't have that, like, enough of that energy to like do something like to the fullest extent where like I succeed at a low, and that's probably just like part of being like a human and being competitive, and just like, what if I don't make it? Like, there's something so romantic to me about being a Navy SEAL. Like, what if I never make it to a level that is so difficult to make it to, that, you know what I mean? Like, what if I don't make it to the top? What if I'm not the best?
There's nothing wrong with that.
There isn't, but there's something in my brain that's like, that's romanticized that idea.
But you should. Because if you have that,
it pushes you to be better.
Right, you're never going to fall short of what is necessary.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed.
At that point,
to develop, right?
Yeah, if you're chasing perfection, then you are succeeding. You're just not succeeding to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going crazy.
It's
like
pairing that drive for success with
a healthy sense of
a healthy sense of yes, exactly. Healthy sense of like what you need other than that drive to be okay mentally.
Yeah.
100%.
And like I feel like with a lot of adults now, like, I mean, I think like, I don't know, I want to be a father one day, like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
But being parents, like, I look at my parents, and I don't know if you can echo this with like your parents, but I feel like I don't see a whole lot of like passion going on, and you know, that's not to dig them. It's because they gave up everything for their kids.
Right.
And,
right.
I mean, good parents do that.
And the aftermath was sometimes scary. Like that's probably why so many people get a divorce.
Yeah, man. I mean, putting a relationship, I mean, that's one of the most impactful things that can happen in your life, like a romantic relationship, especially with marriage. Like, the amount of turmoil you can get through, like, raising a child
at such a big level. Like, we weigh that relationship so much.
Yeah.
In our brains, in our emotional energy, in our, you know.
It's but it's because it's the scariest thing ever. It's requiring full acceptance, full understanding, and just full, not agreement,
trust.
But trust.
So important.
Trust with a partner. Like, that is fucking terrifying. And for anybody to sit here and say that isn't terrifying, you're lying to yourself, or you haven't considered the extent to which that really applies. Yeah. Because, like, dude,
the depth of the trust that needs to be there in order to be like in a relationship that you're actually happy in. And you know what's interesting too is like you'll see a lot of older couples really happy if they make it that far, because it probably becomes about them again, right? Like after the kids are gone and they're not worried about them anymore, it gets to the point where it becomes about their relationship again. And what a beautiful thing that must be, to be, I don't know, 60.
And be like old friends reminiscing about a task you did together.
And you look over to your left and you're like, this is the person who I was with in the beginning. And it was just us, and then it wasn't. And that was okay. And we went into that stream of parenting consciousness. And then now all of a sudden I'm whoop, and I look over and let me go into this stream where it's just us again. And there's something like that is just absolutely satisfying and like heartwarming when something goes full circle.
Yeah.
Something
yeah.
clicks.
Dude, I was just gonna say, when you were describing that, I felt like I felt myself like getting emotional.
Me
like,
too.
I haven't had that experience. Like we neither of us have, but it's like you can understand the amount of emotional impact that can have. Like
Yeah.
and it's so sad that I think at the core we all want that, but there's so many pressures to act like either we don't, or there's so many pressures to make that not a reality.
Right.
And I mean that's like, you know, we live in a society, but
Yeah.
at the same time, like there are so many things we can do to make that happen. Once again, just empathy.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's why I like doing this podcast.
yeah.
Because it just helps us to be like, hey, we're good. Like, let's fucking love each other. Let's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It helps us to express our opinions on the things that we think are important. And, like, take it with a grain of salt. Like, listen, you know, like, do what you want with what we think. But it just, like, I love the ability to, like, I love the idea of the ability to be able to get something off my chest. It's, like, that I think is so important, and then like have you like feel that, and then we go into it. It's like it's so healing, you know. It's like
it's cognitive therapy because it's not just are my emotions valid, it's are my thought processes valid.
Yeah. And sometimes you can't think in your head. Sometimes you have to think out loud.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
yeah. Sometimes you got to get into that flow state to really get it out.
Right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, like. We're good.
Yeah, thank God, right? Or thank somebody. Thank whoever, man. Thank the fucking person, the big man upstairs. Dude, you trying to rip some of these cookies before we get too fucking lost?
I think so. I think so.
Let's do it.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that might be a really good place to end it. Like,
oh, you're right.
We're so like, we're good. Hopefully, all of you guys are good. Like.
Yeah.
I mean, we're definitely gonna get into these cookies off camera, but
what we'll do is like we'll end it here.
Yeah.
And say like thank you, and then we'll just leave the camera running, bro. Eat these cookies, and then we can have bloopers, bro. And then maybe they'll like be into that idea.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, thank you for listening. Like.
Yeah.
100%. We're gonna be putting up something about the like book club.
Yes.
Our experiment up on the Instagram. Like, make sure to check that out. Hopefully we can get like a playlist.
Yeah, that'd be dope too. Yeah, a little journaling with our experiment and a little playlist with just other shit that maybe you guys would want to listen to, you know, like keep it like a document, like a Word doc, bro, like always expanding like a Spotify playlist or something like that.
Yeah, that would be sick.
So
if you're not already following it, Blissfully Unaware podcast, or just Blissfully Unaware podcast on TikTok and Instagram.
And Instagram, same shit. Dude, what a good one.
What a good one.
Yo, thank you for watching, everybody, and fucking we'll be back at you with another one.
Yeah.
Bang.